Hi everyone. One thing that people have noticed on many occasions with my driving is that I tend to have my hands quite low. This is a bad habit, but I'm going to explain today how subconsciously, I've not planned to do this, I've worked out a safe way of relaxing when we're driving. So that's where we're going to be going with this video. Now, I'm heading off to Chester. It's all plumbed into the sat nav. We're all okay, we've got enough fuel, we're all fine. It's time to get cracking, I think. Let's just stick my sunglasses on my head because it's quite bright. Now we've got a camera here so you can see my hand position whilst I'm doing any of the work that we're doing, because this interior camera, often because it's set so high, makes people think my hands are lower than they actually are. So that's why we've got the real view. Although it is distorted, you can see exactly where my hands are on the wheel at all times. Now, let's just have a quick talk about where you should be having your hands. There's a little bit of a discussion at the minute about 10 to 2 or quarter to 3. I'm not going to go there, to be honest, because I think it's something about nothing, if I was honest. People always say about where are your hands going to be if you have a crash and bits and bobs. Honestly, people don't get it. If you're going to have a crash that's probably going to be serious enough to set these airbags off, take your hands off the wheel. It's as simple as that. There's no in the world you want your hands on the wheel. If you can't do anything to steer to avoid, to fix the problem, literally, just take your hands away. If you grab hold of the wheel and keep hold of the wheel in an accident, what you're going to do is just put all those stresses through your shoulders, through your arms, through your wrists, through your hands. The seat belt's going to contain you in your seat, and the airbag's going to cope with, honestly, anything else. So, if I was honest, this discussion about where your hands should be, I'm not really getting involved in it because I don't think it's actually a big deal. Now, hands on the wheel though, they should be in a position for me where they're able to operate all of these controls. So anywhere comfortable. Wrapping your thumbs around the inside isn't good because your hands aren't as flexible. I'm going to try and show you this at a roundabout a little bit further up. But if you wrap your thumbs around, we're not on a racetrack on the roads. It's often something that I hear people say, it's the first thing that you should forget when you pass your test. Nah, load of rubbish. I'll drive like this all the time, unless I'm going off to go and do some track day stuff. That's a little bit different. Now, hands on the wheel then, yeah. So thumbs comfortable, not wrapped around the inside. Grip about the same sort of pressure that you should hold a knife or a fork, so it's super loose. People think you actually steer with two hands, where you don't. You steer with one. You steer with one at a time, and we'll demonstrate this as I do this right turn. When you're doing steering, try and prep your hands, try and lift them up to the top of the wheel in the direction you're going to go, and then you've got a full steer round. And within that one little shuffle, you can usually get a majority of the steering done that you need to do. But then, when you've done the shuffle, your hands return back up to normal position. Let's have a little look at this turn. I'm going for that one. And it allowed me to get the gear on the corner without actually crossing my hands as well. So that's one of the other benefits. If you're crossing, you're not going to be able to get the gear on the corner. Therefore, you're not going to be ready and able to accelerate out of the corner. So you should be picking these gear changes at times where, honestly, it's least interruptive of what's going on. So back to the task in hand. My hands are up and at it in case the lights change. And I've still got risk down here on the left hand side with the parked cars. I'm going to check and I'm going to come back and go into fourth. Now, nothing's happening. So I could actually be here. Not a big deal. Nothing's going on, no one's around me. But now my hands are back up to deal with the potential risk. Okay, happy, nothing coming out the side road. I'm happy to drop them again. If I saw something, it's like a boxer on guard. As soon as the punch is going to come in. You've got to be up, hands up, defending yourself. And it's sort of the same when you're in the car. So my hands are up and I'm ready to deal with this. I do need to have good control of the steering wheel. I'm not going to put them down now because of the pedestrians. Happy with him, happy with the other ones. And I'm just going to take a little bit more space. He's obviously crossing behind me. Do I feel okay dropping my hands down? If you use lane 2, I think I would, yeah. Because I've got extra space. I'm going to come back in. Dan's completed his turn. Is it Dan? No, it's not. Thought it was Dan, sorry. An old instructor of mine. So here again, very little going on. Quite happy to have my hands down. There's no risk with this pedestrian on the left-hand side. If someone came, I could quite happily get my hands up. I'm aware of the crossing though, because the opposite one on the other side stopped. That could mean someone's crossed, press the button, and then just honestly stop that side. So no problem, didn't cause me any issue. So as you can see, I alter my hand position dependent on the risk that I've got. Now, would I expect everyone to be at this level? No. Would I encourage anyone to do this? No. Because the advice we should be giving as driving instructors is have your hands up in this position all the time. But for me, if you're doing a 2-hour commute, perhaps, or a 2-hour drive to a different part of the country, there's no way that you want your hands up there all the time, because all it's going to do is fatigue you. So it's my little way that I've found of having a relaxed way of doing things, but still managing and coping with risk. So here, hands are up, ready for it, ready for it, ready for it. Know what's happening all around. I'm through. Happy with that one? Yes. Could I drop my hands a little bit? Well, I don't think so, because we're a little bit bunched up ahead. We've got the bus coming up as well, so I'm going to keep them up and active. So I am just going to go off and do the roundabout up ahead. Just before we get there though, think about gear changing. People don't think about gear changing well enough as well. They just go for gears when there's a potential risk. This same thought process should be applied to what you're doing with the gear lever. Not just changing gear repetitively, routinely. You should choose your gears when risk is a bit lower. So I am going to lane change. I'm not going to lane change until this Saab is behind me, because I could be hidden. Just remember that. So could I have my hands a little lower now? Yeah, no issues. No problems. So, like I said, I wouldn't advise doing things in this way, but you do need to have little times where you can relax. People do grip the wheel too hard. It's one of the 5 main skills that I do find people have problems with when they're driving. It's not just learners, it's all people. So I'm going to do this right turn. Let's just have a little look at what I mean about getting the hands prepped and the steering set. I can now hold with this one, get second, hand back on, reach, and then start pulling down. And again, if I needed to gear change or do a signal or even check my mirrors, because I'm getting that steering set, I'm not steering and gearing. Go on then, buddy. Yeah, I'm not steering and gearing. Even there, the gear change was perfectly fine on the corner. And then because my hand's set, I can then check and signal. Whereas if you're crossing your hands, how can you then signal properly? So for me, this crossing of the hands, it can be useful sometimes. I'm not saying you can't do it, you can. But people do it too much, and they do it so much that honestly it does affect other things, like signalling to leave roundabouts. And my signals to leave roundabouts are part of my good, proper steering control. So to the people who say you should just abandon absolutely everything you've learnt when you've passed your test and just go back to doing what you're not go back to doing what you want, to go to doing what you want. Nah, it's an absolute load of rubbish. It's just people's lack of understanding of what us driving instructors are trying to achieve. So try and keep these habits, because it's how you passed and it's how you're going to stay safe. So if you ever see me on the videos dropping my hands down, by all means pick up on it, but I'm always going to reference now this video. Thanks a lot for watching and tuning in. I'll see you all soon.